Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, UXUI Advocate. I'm going to update everybody on week 4. Ooh, I don't know my numbers. Week 4. So let's get into it. So this week 4 focused, I have my notes here, focused on ways to moderate testing. The 3 or 4 different types of testing that we can do for users. So it breaks down into, specifically I think the first one is called Guerilla testing, like the monkey gorilla, where you have this prototype, this mid-fidelity prototype, and you go out into the environment trying to catch people that would potentially fit within your user population, your target population, going to coffee shops, to malls, to public places, and providing an incentive for random people on the street to actually engage in your prototype. So it's really hit or miss. So guerrilla testing is one of the first ones we've talked about. Then we also have different types of moderated tests. So there's virtual moderated tests, there's in-person moderated tests, and there's unmoderated tests, and those are exactly what they sound like. You could do moderated virtually, which is through Zoom or through another platform or virtual platform. You talk the user, the tester, through the process, through the scenario that you want them to kind of envision themselves in, and you give them key tasks to actually engage in using the app or the website, but app for us. And then there is in-person moderated, which is just like virtual moderated, but in person instead. So you're sitting next to the person, side by side. Sometimes you have an observer with you. This can happen both in the in-person and virtual moderated sessions. And you're asking probing questions to the user, trying to figure out their thought process, going through all of these different tasks, still giving them a scenario, still walking them through, or them walking you through the process of using this particular app or particular features within the app. And then the final one is unmoderated. So this is giving the user a link to your prototype or setting the prototype down in front of the user and not telling them anything in particular, not asking any questions, just letting them focus solely on the app. And then at the very end, debriefing, asking them questions, trying to figure out what they were thinking, their thought process at the very end. It's mainly based on a lot of outside observations, observing their body language, observing their facial expressions, seeing if they're frustrated based on a certain feature or certain task that you've given them. But it's all observation based when it's unmoderated. And then you have unmoderated remote testing, which is once again sending a link to the prototype, but then it's remote, so you're not physically there with the user, the tester. You're just getting feedback from them once they've completed X amount of tasks that you give them. So lots of different ways to actually test. A lot of different processes engaged in tests. Human interface guidelines, so HIGs. Sounds kind of weird. Human interface guidelines, so there's, like I said, material design, and then there's the iOS. And those are the two HIGs that are used when designing apps. So that's just, it helps with maintaining the process and keeping everything kind of similar from app to app, from phone to phone as well. It makes it easier for the user to quickly learn how to use an app, because key icons will be used across multiple apps, or key places of the app interface will be similar across app to app. So the search bar, normally you're going to see a search bar up at the top. It was kind of weird a couple months ago. Apple decided to change where their search bar was located, and it just, at least me personally, it threw me off. I hated it. I think they still do it, and I hate that it's like that on Safari. It changed from the top of the screen to the bottom, closer to the actual like keyboard that pops up, hate it. But that's just because I'm used to having a search bar up at the top of the screen, and that's just not an Apple thing. That's most devices. You'll have your keyboard pop up from the bottom, and you'll have a search bar up at the top. So it's just things like that. So these human interface guidelines, so the HIGs, helps with just continuity of the interfaces that are across multiple apps and multiple devices for users. What else? We've talked about different types of UI kits, so user interface kits within Figma. I'm learning more about Figma. I'm this close to liking it, just a little bit more. I understand the purpose of Figma. It actually has been really helpful. I've been designing my mid-fidelity prototype, and maybe I'll like throw up a screenshot or a picture. I don't know if I can do that on YouTube. I'll have to figure that out. But I designed my interface, my frames for my mid-fidelity prototype. I wireframed the whole thing, and so now it's a clickable prototype, not an app, for a trip planning app. So it's really interesting. I spent way too long wireframing and designing things. There's only like 4 people on this planet that have actually seen it, and it's my friends and my family, and I probably won't show anybody else. I put a screenshot of my splash page on my Instagram, UXUI Advocate, but nobody else knows exactly what's inside of the app because I'm extremely self-conscious, and I don't know for sure if it's actually any good. Of course, there's only one way to know if it's good, if I put it out there, but anxiety is a thing that I have. So yeah, I've been wireframing my mid-fidelity prototype. We focused on that this past week for week 4. And I think that's it, really. Really, it was just about usability testing, interviewing people, making sure that we're getting usable data to iterate our our mid-fidelity prototypes to more high-fidelity prototypes, using the information that we get, the insights that we get, and applying all of that information using the UI kits that we have from Figma, and creating a higher fidelity prototype. I hope I explained that all in a reasonable amount of time. Yeah, I think that's all so far. Sorry, my dog is not super happy because it's like 10 p.m. and it's past her bedtime, so that means that I'm gonna go to bed too. For those who are out there watching my videos, I really appreciate y'all sticking here with me, watching me fumble, dealing with my anxiety about not wanting to share anything. I do post a little bit more content I post a lot more content on my Instagram at UXUI Advocate. If you do want to see a little bit of what I have, maybe one day I'll feel like I'll have some guts to post more stuff, but yeah, until then, I will, oh wait, I guess I'm supposed to say, don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. Is that what they say? Obviously, I don't do this for a living. So, anyways, you know what to do. But until then, I'll see y'all next week. Bye.